The close followers of the Dan Markel murder case against Donna Adelson probably have already heard that her motion for a rehearing and hearing en banc with the Court of Appeal has been denied. And this was a little bit of a surprise to me that it was pretty much one sentence, which says, the court denies the motion for rehearing, and rehearing en banc docketed May 27th, 2025, and it's signed by a clerk, not even a judge. So I guess this seemed to be so frivolous that they didn't even want to bother a judge's time. So the clerk signed off on this, and it's over. This is great to hear, because that means Stephen Everett, the trial judge, is going to stay the judge for her trial, which is scheduled to begin August 19th. So I'll take that off the screen. Oh, hearing en banc. That means that the whole panel of all the Court of Appeals judges would have to hear Donna's appellate attorney's arguments. So they were trying to kick off Judge Everett from the case because he had issued at least one, maybe a couple of the warrants. Her appellate attorney was arguing that Judge Everett had heard false negative information about Donna's attorney's allegations that they had maybe violated rules by letting Donna use their Apple Watch to make phone calls. That's what I recall. So sorry, my voice seems to be giving out. I don't think those Xeomin injections really helped for too long, which is too bad. Let me take this off the screen, because to me, the breaking news is Sigfredo Garcia. So it's so interesting that just about a week ago, when Katie Magbanua was one of the guests on my live stream show, I had asked her, well, what's going on with Sigfredo's appeal? And it's not even really an appeal, because his appeal was denied years ago. And then way back in 2023, he decided to file a motion for post-conviction relief, which is focused on just bashing his attorney, Sam Sanganhe, and saying that he had ineffective counsel. So it's a horribly, horribly written brief, which I covered 2 years ago. So if you do a big search under my previous live stream shows, you should be able to find that. Let me tell you what happened. Just about a week ago, Court of Appeal also denied his motion for post-conviction relief, but he had also filed a separate motion more recently, earlier this year, asking for a ballistics expert. And not only did he want an expert at this very late hour, but he also wanted some privately retained person located in Asheville, North Carolina, who would have charged $250 an hour. So the Court of Appeal also denied that. So this is a great win for justice for Dan. Let me show you Sigfredo's filings here. Okay, so this is the order denying Sigfredo's motion to get a forensic ballistics expert. It says without prejudice, but should be with prejudice, which means he can't ask for it again. But what did they say? Yeah, so it's been so long that I think most people sort of forgot about Garcia, because he's the horrible, evil shooter who actually shot the bullets into Dan Markel way back in 2014. So Sigfredo also recently was moved to Liberty Correctional Institute, which is still not too far from Tallahassee. I recall it's probably like an hour and a half southwest, I think. They're saying that he didn't offer any basis to deviate from the hypothetical realm and authorize a forensic ballistics expert for ascertaining his ineffectiveness claim, let alone one at public expense, which the Justice Administrative Commissioners object to. The normal course for resolving his non-capital post-conviction claims is sufficient. Okay, so that's also a pretty short and sweet denial. Great, because I'm sure the taxpayers of Florida don't really want to have to pay for him to get this $250 an hour ballistics expert, who is somebody named Josh Wright. I looked him up and he has this nice website, looks pretty impressive, but unfortunately, he's not going to get some business. This is from February, where the Justice Administrative Commission responded to his motion because Sigfredo was asking for $5,000. Why is everything about $5,000? At a rate of $250 per hour for a forensic expert. So they're saying there's no right to state-funded due process costs in post-conviction matters. They object. The regular rate for forensic experts is $150 per hour. There's well-established case law that he's not entitled for funding for costs associated with investigating or litigating a motion for post-conviction relief. Of course, we know he already received a trial. Any right to due process services should be severely limited. Yeah, he's already been sentenced to life for murdering Dan Markel, so I don't think anybody feels sorry for him. Okay, so they quote some case law here. They do note that Sigfredo's trial counsel did retain an expert in crime scene reconstruction prior to trial. Based on their records, the defense incurred $24,060 for the services of an expert in crime scene reconstruction. Wow, I had never heard this figure before. It sounds like a lot. That's where taxpayer dollars are going. But he did have the right to have a zealous defense. I don't know if there's some sort of cap on that. So contrary to what Sigfredo was saying in his motion, the state is saying that trial counsel did consult with an expert in a relevant field. So it's questionable whether he can even show that his defense counsel was ineffective. And it's also Sigfredo's burden to demonstrate diligent efforts to obtain services within or closer to the rates established by law. And they're also objecting because it's an out-of-state expert. Okay, so they're quoting Florida statutes that prohibits the appointment of an out-of-state expert absent a showing that there are no in-state experts available. Looking at Josh Wright's website, it looks like he went to Florida State or he went to school in Florida, and he did also seem to work most of his career in Florida. So I'm assuming he just recently moved to Asheville. So that's the state's response. Let's take that off. Oh, look at this. You can see Sigfredo's beautiful handwriting. So True Lifestyles had shown some of Sigfredo's jail records years ago on her channel, and people had all remarked about how his writing was so beautiful and it looked like a little girl's handwriting. So you can see this, not just trying to throw shade at him, but he hand wrote this. I thought they had access to computers or typewriters or something because his motion was typed up. Motion for authorization to employ a forensic ballistics expert. He filed this on December 11th, 2024. So he's saying that he's indigent. That means he's poor. So he can't hire the necessary expert to assist him. The state relied on the testimony of forensic crime scene analyst Sean Yao as their expert witness to non-definitively establish defendant's height and made him the shooter. and defense did not put up an expert to combat this testimony. Yeah, that I do recall. He's entitled to have a forensic ballistics expert to assist him. Well, I feel like it's way too late at this point. And it says that he identified Joshua Wright as an appropriate expert. Here's the guy's address in Asheville. The cost is in excess of the established rates, which are $150 per hour for a maximum of $1,500. Mr. Wright's rate is $250 an hour for about 20 hours. So he needs $5,000 for review of that trial testimony and sketches of forensic specialist, medical examiner report, autopsy photos relating to car and garage at crime scene, prosecutor expert witness testimony. So he wants an initial approval of $5,000, so it could be more. Well, he's respectfully moving for an order for that. Okay, so we'll take that off the screen. So going sort of backwards, this was interesting because after Sigfredo filed his motion for post-conviction relief, which was way back when was it? Okay, it was August 24th, 2023. Then the state in September 2023 just filed this very brief filing saying that they want the court to set his motion for an evidentiary hearing. But after all this waiting, it's been almost 2 years. I guess the judges decided they don't even need a hearing. They just went ahead and denied Sigfredo his motion, which is great. So hopefully that's the end of it. I don't know if he can appeal again to the Supreme Court, but this is a good sign for justice for Dan. So that's pretty much the big news that I have for today, because I was surprised when I just happened to do a search yesterday on Sigfredo's case, because there's just like so much waiting and so much time involved. And as we know, Dan Markel's family has been waiting patiently for all these years. And us people who are so fixated on the case, we're just eager for any sort of news. So it was pretty exciting to see that something has happened. And this is ruling against Sigfredo Garcia. So let him just stay in prison, which is where he belongs. This one you guys have probably already seen, and I'm not sure why it just showed up in the public court records a couple of days ago, but it looks like it was actually e-filed May 29th. And it just says the discovery deadline, pretrial motion, filing deadline, and the witness list, exhibit list, and demonstrative exhibits, they're all due by Friday, June 27th. The next scheduled hearing is August 8th, but I have a feeling that there could be another hearing scheduled before August. Last time I checked the docket today, Donna Adelson's attorneys had not filed any additional motions. But last week at the hearing, Josh Zellman said that he might file another motion. So we're not sure, but their motion to keep out Stephen Webster and Sarah Youssef as witnesses testifying for the state, that hasn't been scheduled for any sort of hearing. So you would think that it would be heard before August 8th, because if these, I'm sure it's going to be denied, but just in case anything were to happen, the state as well as the witnesses should know in advance whether they're going to be called for court or not. So that's that. And I think this will be pretty short since I do have to get running and my voice is crappy, and I think I've blocked most of the haters, but definitely it's a downer to get these negative comments later from people telling me just put a sock in it and stop being on YouTube and stuff. But I do appreciate those people who are still out there, still watching, and hopefully the value of what I present can outweigh the crappy voice problems. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Rosemary. Rosemary is always here. Thank you, Tennis Girl. Thanks, Susan. Is Sigfredo trying to claim he is not the shooter? Yeah, I think that's ultimately what he wanted to show, because that was one of his points in his motion, was that his attorney failed him by not getting some sort of ballistics expert to challenge Sean Yao's testimony. Since there's such a big height difference between Sigfredo and Lewis, then I think it probably was easier for people to conclude that, yeah, it was Sigfredo who was the shooter. But I think it's, as the court has ruled, it's too late. And speaking of the actual decision, unfortunately, the Court of Appeal order is not publicly available on the website. All it said was that the order was denying his motion for post-conviction relief. But that's the great news today. He's on the passenger seat on the bus cam video. Oh, okay. Well, that's great to know, because I don't recall seeing that. So thank you. Okay, thank you, Dog Lover. This was definitely a reach after hearing that his attorney had hired an expert. Yeah, there was an expert. So I guess Sigfredo is just splitting hairs and saying, well, there should have been a ballistics expert. And I tried reading Sigfredo's motion again, but it was just as Zelman said, Wendy's book was a hard read. Well, this is a hard read too, because Sigfredo, he seems barely literate. He's a terrible writer. There were some bunch of sentences that didn't seem to have verbs or proper punctuation or something. So it was kind of giving me a headache to read his motion for post-conviction relief. But that was something that I had covered in a live stream show back in 2023. Oh, okay. Sigfredo wrote a love letter to Katie too. His handwriting isn't worse. Yeah, good for him for having good handwriting, even though he can't write well. Yeah. So law professor Joe Patuto said that she thought Donna's trial attorneys, as well as her appellate attorney, did not write well, and it was hard to understand their arguments. So I wonder how appalled she would be if she had to read Sigfredo's motion. Oh, okay. Welcome back, Caroline. Hope you're feeling better. Why doesn't he talk? No, I don't think the state wants to work out anything with him. So he had to just do it through the court system. Okay. Hi. Thanks for being here, Elche. Yeah, hoping Sigfredo flips too. Yeah, who knows? Yeah. Katie's former best friend, Yindra, said that she really didn't think Sigfredo would ever come out and tell the truth. And I'm thinking it's probably not just some sort of psychological thing or some sort of like prison code, but it's probably also because he was doing so many drugs and drinking so much during the time of the crime as well as afterward. So I think it's pretty unlikely that he really remembers much. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Renita. Thanks for being there. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for all your support. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Teresa. Okay. Hi, Jackie. Thank you. Hi, Pazan. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it. I do have to get going. Yeah. Thank you, Talk Lover. Yeah, Sigfredo was quite the sucker. He was manipulated into committing the hit for Katie with a promise. Well, that was Katie's attorney's theory of the case, that Katie would reconcile with him. But since he hasn't spoken, we don't know what's going on. But then again, Luis Rivera did say in one of his proffer interviews that Katie had Sigfredo all screwed up in the head, and she was so manipulative, and she would play games with Sigfredo, and Sigfredo was kind of like, he was wrapped around her finger. So whatever Katie told him to do, he would do it. Isn't that very strange? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, RC. Okay. Thank you. Oh, okay. You like the comedy skits. That's great because I actually lost some subscribers after that. Okay. After Garcia carried out the hit, yeah, it could have been. Yeah, I don't think he knew exactly that they were doing it because of Charlie, because supposedly Garcia told Lewis they were doing it for the lady. Or, there's Wendi, there's a lady who wants her kids back, or the lady we're doing this job for. So thank you, Bruce. Hey, thanks for being there. Okay. Yeah, who knows how he feels about it. He does seem to be like a complete knucklehead. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, now his post-conviction relief is over. So, yeah, I'm still hoping to go, but I actually have a trial that starts August 25th, so I can't do anything that whole week. So I'm not really sure at this point. I'm hoping to go, but I haven't bought any tickets or paid for any hotels so far. Yeah. Well, because I guess if there's some glimmer of hope, some people are going to obviously just use the legal system and file whatever they can. What does he have to lose? He's just stuck in prison otherwise. So I just still find it weird that he had to handwrite that motion. Oh, okay. Middle child syndrome. Yeah, I actually did not watch the Godfather movie. Okay. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you. Yeah. Sigfredo shot the passenger side floor. Seems like he was always in the passenger seat. Yeah. Although when they went to the ATM, that was way after, or many hours after the murder, closer to Miami. I think Sigfredo was the one in the driver's side at the ATM. Is that true? Sandra knows everything about the case, but I seem to recall later Sigfredo was in the driver's seat that night. Yeah, I think it is going to start. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Adelson, for being here. You guys, please subscribe to her channel also. Let's see. Hey, Mona, you're here. Okay. See, my voice is totally dead from croaking and squawking on Monday when we did our comedy. My throat actually did hurt after that. There was just so much talking involved. Oh, okay. Thank you. There are two public bus cam images before and after 10:51, heading to Trescott, 10:55, leaving Trescott after shooting Dan Markel, heading north on Thomasville Road. Okay, thank you so much. You guys know this case really well. Okay. Thanks everybody for being here. Let's see. Yeah, Sigfredo's attorneys were working with a little bit he offered, which was basically nothing. Yeah, exactly. Poor Sam Zangane, like people were making fun of him and stuff on the internet, but he had a crappy client and the facts were bad. And his client didn't want him to say anything that could make Katie look guilty, which she was. Yeah. Okay, Liberty is very close, very rural. Yeah, isn't that strange? Why would they call it the prison Liberty? I mean, that's kind of like a sad joke for the prisoners. It's like, you're going to Liberty. Yeah. What's Wendi up to? Why she's not? Well, supposedly it's on the advice of her attorney, which does make sense that she should just cut off contact with her family at this point. Yeah. Plus, they were prone to just talking and being complete jabbermouths. Yeah, we don't really know what exactly she's doing. It doesn't seem like she's working. So he had to have known it was Charlie's instruction. Yeah, I mean, if I were Sigfredo, I'd want to know, like, who are we doing this for, and how do I know for sure that I'm going to get paid? So I don't know. Would he trust Katie that much that he wouldn't ask any questions? I have no idea. Okay. Sigfredo and Katie were both messed up, cheating on each other. Sigfredo and Katie doing drugs, unhealthy and toxic relationship. Yeah, I totally agree. Okay. Oh, yes, I did try it. They gave me some sort of generic or cheaper version called Zeomin, which is covered by my insurance. But it only helped for maybe about 2 weeks, even though I still couldn't talk loudly. But now the shakiness is coming back again. So I'm not really sure if it was worth it or not. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the price we're having fun is then I couldn't speak well afterwards. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Liberty County. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, it kind of comes and goes, but okay, Dawn, you're here. Okay, it's nice to see you. Okay, the county is named Liberty. It's one of the least populated counties in the state, one of the poorest, beautiful though. Oh, okay. Okay, so the quick summary is that there are more wins in this whole saga of justice for Dan Markel because the Court of Appeal denied Sigfredo Garcia's motion for post-conviction relief. And he also made a separate motion more recently to try to get this expensive forensic ballistics expert who is located in North Carolina. And the court rejected that too. So that's the quick summary. Tudo was jacked up on drugs and alcohol. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, Sigfredo has better printing than I do. Okay. No, the judge still hasn't ruled on the motion to keep out Stephen Webster and Sarah Youssef. So that's why I kind of think that there probably will be another hearing scheduled maybe in July, because it seems kind of strange to push everything off until August 8th. That seems too close to the actual trial date. Yeah, I think it's going to go forward. Afrin drops to your throat. I don't know. Isn't Afrin is that for allergies or for eyes? I don't know, but I will definitely ask my ENT about that. Okay, yeah, I don't think it's going to be delayed. Okay, hi, Shanti. Okay, well, I can't keep talking, so I'm so sorry. I do have to get going. I have agreed to take some relatives to the airport, so it's time to hop in the car and go pick them up. Yeah. Well, that's all they want to do. They're criminals. They have way too much time on their hands, and they're probably jailhouse prison lawyer type people who try to help out people with doing all their pro se filings. Yeah. Somehow I doubt it. I don't think they're going to call Charlie because, the whole family's still sticking together. And why would Charlie want to jeopardize his chances just in case he does get an appeal or a new trial? So I don't think Charlie would really help Donna at this point. Yeah. Oh, okay. To stop bleeding. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate people's comments, but I don't think I should take my medical advice from strangers. So yeah. Okay. I'll be spamming YouTube to see if we. Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Yeah, if you guys, there's so much going on YouTube, lots of coverage now since Donna's trial is coming up. So a lot of channels out there, but once again, I do appreciate you guys still sticking with this channel. And I'm not sure what we'll do next. Maybe Dawn and I will have another trivia night, or I'll try to scramble and get another person who's willing to be interviewed. And there's also been some talk behind the scenes with Hey Mona, if she wants to come on later next week so we can discuss something that has to do with the Lori Fallow Daybell trial. And I'm not sure if people are sick and tired of that case and if you guys are interested in that. Okay. Afrin to nose, instant addiction, really hard. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know anything about this other than that I've heard vaguely about this medication. So, yeah. Okay. Well, hope you guys have a great day. And hopefully, some people will not complain because finally, for once, I do have a sort of short live stream show, sort of quick and to the point. So, take care, you guys. See you next time.